Do, 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 do. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Ba, 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 ba. Today our problem was rendering cause the computer was going super slow. I don't know why the computer was going slow. It was going regular, then it decided to go slow. I don't know why computers was computing so dang slow. Hello out there, Internet! Hopefully nobody's earballs just exploded. What's up, Internet? What's going on? How's everybody doing today? Yeah, it's Friday. It's Freaky Friday. I'm freaking out. Wait, I'm not really freaking out. Are you guys freaking out? Hope you're not freaking out. Hope you're not freaking out too bad, because it's a pretty reasonable day out there today. It's windy, it's raining, and everything is shooting lasers all over the place. And that's not so bad, you know? Right? That's not so bad. That's not so bad out there in the neighborhood, wherever you're at, whatever you're doing. What are you doing? What is this thing doing? Hold on, I gotta figure out. Oh, there we go. Okay. Sorry, the camera decided that it wanted to control itself, and we won't let it control itself, because that's no good. There we go. It freaks out if I wave my hands around. Now it's fine. To anybody out there that's trying to figure out how to use a Logitech Brio, you got to turn off the autofocus feature. But as everybody was so kind to wait in the chat whilst I rendered the video, thank you very much, you guys. Thank you very much for holding out for the extra 10 minutes of wait time there. But here's the cool thing. If you do show up early, the chat is open, and people have a tendency to chat about what's going on and just kind of, you know, chiming in, letting everybody know what's going on. Let's check in with the chat. Speaking of the chat, let's talk about the chat. And how many times do you think I could say chat? Chat. Vicky! Vicky Toria is here today, but she doesn't want to be on the show because she has other things to do. She has pressing, important things that she's handling, and that's what she's all about. But first one to the chat today, Frank Dominguez, and you guys were chatting so much, I lost the chat. So I can't tell who was second. But I did see the Turtle Girl. I saw Wushu Jimmy Brown. I saw Borg Aquatics. I've seen Mr. Gone Mad himself. And Douglas Palmer, Magic 21 Mom, Dan Squires, Miss Mellow Moogle, It's Spadoinkle coming in strong. I was saying, I was watching some of your older videos, and some of the comments you get currently on 4- and 5-year-old videos are ridiculous. I was laughing so hard at your replies. Oh, thank you for checking out those old videos. Feel free to watch them at your own risk. Some of them are pretty terrible. Some of them are, I don't know, kind of remarkable in how terrible they actually are. And to those of you out there, I think the moral of today's show is going to be just keep working on whatever you're doing, and it will get better. I mean, if you just keep putting the time in, putting the effort in, it will get better, and that's the way that I sort of operate day to day, even though I get frustrated at things not working out perfectly all the time. One of the reasons I do have those old videos still up on the internet is because it's a constant reminder of like, oh, well, I started somewhere and now I'm headed somewhere. I don't know. I'm in the middle, but I will say the middle was better than the beginning, right? So, it's all good. That's why I leave those terrible old videos up there. Do I have to manually move myself? There we go. Maybe I have to move the camera here. Hold on. Let me see if I can do this. Video input. Camera control. Tilt. Oh, tilt goes that way. Pan goes... Oh, pan goes the wrong way. I have to manually do it, you guys. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Oh, that's so much better. Now I'm in the middle of the side over here on the left, and I feel good about that. Okay. So, thank you very much for watching those old videos. They, you know, it's just a reminder to me when people do comment on those, and they're just like, it's super funny. Like, what am I supposed to do? Go back in time and make myself have made a better video? I don't know. There's obviously, like, certain characters on the internet. Let's call them characters. Characters on the internet that are like, hey man, I want everything to be the way that I want it to be all the time, forever, always, and whatever, you know. So that's just a reality of how the world goes sometimes, right? And so I think it's pretty funny. I think it's pretty funny from time to time that people, I'm like, it's a 6-year-old shirt, you know, or a 6-year-old show, you know. I don't know what you want me to do. Go back and make it better. You know, it's hard to say. And I just said shirt because Mary Shrek posted on the Patreon, and I'm going to have to get to that later in the show, but she got her shirt in the mail. And that's awesome. That's so cool. That's the coolest thing. I wonder if we even, hold on, I haven't checked. Let me see the thing here where, how do I, oh, there's the button. How do I go back here? Let's see. Where's this, where's the buttons on this thing? Oh, there it is. Analytics. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for the analytics. So we actually have... Oh, so people have bought shirts. Oh my gosh. People have bought shirts. 5, 3... Oh, 1 mug. Oh, wait. 1 shirt, 3 mugs. 6 shirts and 3 mugs. That's awesome. You know why? Because that's better than 0. And so that means we did something right. But we'll keep making... we do have a plan here. We have a plan that is coming at some point in time. And I can't tell you when it's going to happen or something like that. That I believe Corey and I are actually going to print some shirts at some point. So we're going to probably do some Real Fish Talk shirts and probably some shirts for this. And then... you know, not only will they be vetted ahead of time, which means that we'll actually see them get printed, and then be able to check them out, and they will actually end up shipping from the Aquarium Co-op. I think is how that's going to go down, which I think is a lot easier and quicker and better than the Teespring shipping, because I do notice that some people they're like, I finally got the thing I wanted to get. And it's like, how long ago did you order it? Like 3.5 weeks ago. You're like, did they like bust out an anvil and like a forge and like forge the shirt out of iron or something? Like, why did it take so long? That's crazy. But we will be doing some fun stuff with that. So maybe you don't want a shirt with like me on it. Maybe you want a shirt with me and Corey on it. Maybe you want a shirt with just Corey's puffer on it, or, you know, whatever you want. And so we'll definitely have some options. We'll have some stuff that we'll have checked out ahead of time, too. So that's one of the downsides with the Teespring. I know that we had some shirts out before, which for some reason there was like a part of a background was like on them. And, you know, we didn't really know until people were like, we got it in, and what's this weird thing here? It's like, oh, man. Which is typically something that like a human would have checked out. I don't know if they actually have people at Teespring. It might just be all robots, robot operated. I don't know. It'd be hard to say if I was to know what their business is. I don't know, but you know, I digress. Thank you for getting a shirt, and that is awesome. And we'll definitely have to do something with the Patreon, because the Patreon messages we will be answering today. And I got to see if that overlay is going to work, because I have it programmed in here, but we'll see if it does something weird, you know, in regards to whatever weirdness is going to happen if sometimes XSplit likes to do crazy stuff. So I'm actually panning back right now to make sure we get to the... Because today's the 16th, so we want to start with all of the stuff from the 9th. Okay. Or the 8th. Sorry. No, the 9th. Yes. Okay. There we go. And there we go. All right. We'll get to that Patreon stuff here in a little bit. In the meantime, I want to say hi to some other people in the chat. Double check if there's any questions here real quick to see what's going on. That's funnier than Jimmy's spin on my barn cat. What? You must have used a broomstick on the ceiling to wake Frank up. That's right, Mateo. As you guys might be able to hear during the show, I think Frank and Vicky are up there cleaning the attic. That's what they're up there doing, a bunch of vacuuming and crazy nonsense going on up there today, which is... one of the main reasons that's actually happening, it's actually Vicky. I'm making a joke that Frank's up there. He's not. He's doing something funner than vacuuming in the attic. But one of the reasons we're getting that already was we're getting ready for our final push on our electrical here. We'll have eliminated all of the knob and tube, and we'll be super happy to be able to announce that when that's done. Oh, delicious. Oh, the coffee's delicious, you guys. This is that week-long brewed stuff I got going in the fridge. Delicious. Friday action. Love it. Oh, yeah. Nisi of the North saying, do you know Awesomeness Fish Keepers hit the like button? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. People are supposed to hit the like button, otherwise Skynet will freak out, and, you know. We don't want Skynet coming after us. Did anybody see that that Black Mirror episode where the anybody see that Black Mirror episode where the robots were going around with the dog and was chasing the lady, and the robots of the future, like Skynet, went around and tried to get everybody, and it was bad. It was not good. It was crazy. It was a crazy Black Mirror episode. Kind of freaked me out. All right, so let's say hi to a couple more people here as I scroll through the chat. Alyssa Bentley, Guppy Guru, Susan from SLC Aquatics, what's going on? Cecilia's Hobbies, Edel Gonzalez, what's up, home skillet? You're saying don't give up my day job. Okay, I won't give up my day job. DMC of the Sea is here, Master Beta, Reggie Tank 1, Ken M.A., hopefully I say that right, maybe? I don't know. Pam Newman, what's going on? Alyssa Bentley. Oh, well, that's twice. I'll say hi. Hey, Freshman Aquatics, how you doing? Gary B is here. I see the Aquarium Co-op. Mr. Corey himself is here. Big Pedro. Sean Gregoire. Denise Lytle. What's up? What's up? How you doing? Joel Gillett of New Zealand. New Swaziland is here, and I will be happy to tell you, Mr. Gillett, that we went out today, and part of what this morning's trials and tribulations were to actually go out and get all of our passport documentation correct into place. And I will tell you something. Mission accomplished, you guys. We did have to go get some money orders, some crazy stuff. Then we have to give them our birth certificate and all this nonsense. And then we had to take goofy pictures, which, by the way, I look good, right? Oh, they gave us the extra. They gave us the extra copy of the picture. I should have brought it in here so I could show you guys. It's pretty funny. Looks like a mug shot. You know what I'm saying? But happy to say that we're on the right track to get the passports, and hopefully we'll be able to go to New Zealand next year. Vicky has already figured out the dates that she wants to go. So hopefully we'll free those up on the calendar. That's over a year from now, and hopefully it'll all make sense and it'll all look good. Mass Aquariums is here saying, I hate my weather right now. It's supposed to be cold. It's like 50 and raining. Yeah, it's like 41, 38 and raining and windy here. It's supposed to be snowing by Sunday, so we'll see. Overnight lows of 17 degrees. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. Let's see. Dank Tanks is here. Good to see you. I see a Robot Aquariums is here. Cheryl Clemenson. Mile High Plecos, Borg Aquatics, Gaddis Aquatics, Dank Tanks again. Nick C, how you doing? Turbo Fish, what's up, my man? Flynn's Fish Forum, Phil Emerson, Aqua Naturalist, how you doing? Edel Gonzalez, I'm gonna say what's up again, my man. Such a nice letter from Edel the other day in regards to him and his family listening to the show. Oh, I mentioned that Robot Aquariums was here. It's one of the people that is not necessarily getting a shout out today, but we're gonna answer some questions from the Robot Aquariums, and we also had some a couple of people sent in some letters or what do you call it? Emails. Sent in some emails to ask about their channel, and so Robot Aquarium sent in an email, and I don't know what it was. It was a bunch of gibberish, but I laughed a lot. I don't know. And they have one video up, and this is pretty rare that I would even say anything about somebody putting up one video, but that one video that was up cracked me up. It was hilarious and quite good. It was quite good, I will say. And so if you guys feel like checking out the Robot Aquarium, I don't know, somewhere in the chat went crazy because Magic21 Mom with the $25 super chat. Thank you very much. Apparently we're testing out the colors here on a Friday for the Peru Fund. Thank you very much. I know a lot of people have been talking about whether or not I'm going to go to Peru with Corey or not. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out right now if I'll be able to make it to Michigan with Corey or not. So that's really like where we're at right now. I think Michigan is going to be plausible because I'm going to drive there if we can. So hopefully that will be something that happens. I don't know if honestly I'll be able to make the trip to Peru or not. I don't know. I just can't answer that question at this point. I know that just tickets are like $1,500. I don't know if I'm going to be able to come up with it. I don't know if that's going to happen. So I'm just going to stay focused on the things that I have to do here. I'm actually building some new stuff, which I think you guys would be fairly interested in some of the video on that. I'm actually building some sumps. We have the Real Fish Talk coming up next Tuesday with Zach, which is pretty exciting. Monday is something, which I can't remember, but luckily I normally write this stuff down on something or in my phone or whatever. But lots of stuff going on right now, and I can't say whether or not Peru is going to happen, but it's really one of those things. I guess if the Patreon like goes way up or something, and it's just like, yeah, we'll get a ticket. then I'll make it happen. But where we're at right now is we basically have an operating budget to just keep kicking the can down the road here and trying to get better and better by the little increments that we can. And Peru's just kind of a far off dream. So, you know, that's really kind of what we're doing. Let's say hi to a couple more people. Hey, Mass Aquariums, how's it going, Mike? How you doing? Derek Runyon is here. Jared Johnson, Bobby Rosenbaum, Sean Nebula, Ricardo Bastos, what's up? And Mateo 5001. Yeah, this does seem like the day job. Maybe this is a big part of. And full disclosure, you know, if you guys go to the Patreon, and because my Patreon is wide open, you guys can see exactly what is happening there. I do leave that published. So you know, currently right now, $1,100 a month, which is insane, by the way, crazy generous, crazy awesome is crazy. That's pretty much that's the meat and potatoes fund. That's the gas fund. That's the pretty much all of everything, you know. So I had top ramen for lunch today. If people were wondering, I had top ramen with carrots, with a bunch of carrots, a couple eggs from the chickens, frozen peas, lots of frozen peas, and corn. And I think that was pretty much it. The little filler was top ramen, but that's where I'm at right now. Is got to be doing the top ramen thing and all that kind of stuff. And but that's all right because I got the frozen peas, I got some vegetables in there and stuff. So not a big deal, and I'm happy to be where I'm at. I'm ecstatic. I'm crazy excited to be where we're at. And like I said, I guess the whole reason I started talking about this was whether or not we were going to be going to Peru or not. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it. I just don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if it's in the cards. So we'll figure it out. As you guys know, I have been dramatically saving money for a new camera. A new camera is definitely needed in the house. And I want to tell you guys something. Right now. Are you guys ready? Get right into the chat whether you're ready or not. Are you guys ready? Are you ready? I don't know if anybody's ready. How would I ever know if anybody was ready for something? How would I know? How would I know if the internet is even ready to deal with something or not? Oh my God, all the cookies! Okay, I gotta tell you guys something. Look at all these cookies here. Look at all these cookies. I have all of these cookies right here, okay? And I am kind of freaking out. I'm kind of freaking out about all these cookies right here. It even comes with this dispenser box, which is amazing, okay? Are you guys excited? Because I'm pretty excited for cookies, you know what I mean? And I think that cookies are a big deal. I think that I'm very excited about cookies, and that's a whole lot of cookies, if you know what I'm saying. And I want to say a big thank you to Victor VT, which is the name I got here. Says, enjoy the gift, hashtag RFD from Victor, Real Fish Talk from Victor, along with a small gift card to put towards, I'm going to make sure I don't accidentally show the UPC or anything, but a small gift card towards camera fund and lens fund and all that kind of stuff. So that's way exciting. And the cookie madness is totally crazy, right? So I big thank you to Victor. A big thank you to and I don't want to, I'm going to almost got your name wrong. It's super hard for me to remember. Magic 21 Mom. I always expect the 21 to be at the end. That's why I screwed that up. But all you guys, like, I definitely appreciate it. Hopefully I pass on at least a little bit of information to you guys from time to time. Oh, yeah, there's this other thing. Yeah, have you guys seen this before? Yeah. 'Tis here. 'Tis camera. And I spent all my money on this lens. So, yeah, this camera came in the mail from somebody. And it's here in my hand, like in person. And it came yesterday, and I didn't have a lens for it. So I spent all my money to overnight a lens. And I've basically shot some stills with it today because I'm sort of like fumbling around like a jackwagon. Trying to figure out all the settings, even though it's not that off-putting in comparison to my 80D, which I normally shoot with. Typically, I don't think a thing like this that came, I I normally wouldn't say who it came from, but I think you all could probably figure out who it was anyhow. If I tried to be all super sneaky and be like, "Oh, somebody sent me a camera." So a big thank you to Victor for the cookies and this Amazon card. It's really awesome. And a big thank you to Corey from the Aquarium Co-op for sending out a new camera to yours truly to help it out. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I was really feeling irrationally discouraged earlier this week. As you guys know, I kind of go through these crazy kind of ebbs and flows of what's going on in my head. And I just was kind of feeling that earlier this week. I don't know why. Because I think I felt like I'm sitting behind the 8 ball. Like the 8 ball is going to run me over. Yeah, I don't know. I was kind of second guessing myself and like whatever I was doing. And kind of, so I just sort of how I was feeling. And then I got cookies in the mail and I realistically just went, you know, I got cookies, and that's pretty much like the most awesome thing. And then there was Valentine's Day, and I got to spend all morning with Vicky. This last Sunday, we went down to Portland. I did my best to shoot video for that. Hopefully, the Portland video will come out tomorrow, I think. Depending on how well I can edit, maybe my computer will be super slow at rendering again. Who knows? But, you know, I can always let it render and then, like, you know, go off to the, go out to dinner or something and then come back. So I'm not too worried about that. It's just a matter of getting it edited or not. So, you know, whatever that feeling is that I have, it's like super irrational. You know what I mean? It's just kind of a part of who I am. So definitely fish fam action. Definitely big time fish fam stuff going on. Now I've got to aggressively save money to get lenses that actually work in this camera. Like I said, I spent all my money on the one lens here because all of a sudden I've been thrust into full frame when I sort of thought I was going to have a couple months lead-in time of going like, maybe I can go to some pawn shops and look around for some lenses or something along those lines. I could do that kind of thing. When you know, if I could like gather some lenses ahead of time, because so a quick photography lesson to you guys. So if oh, hold on. Let me see here. All right. So here we go. So here's my old camera, right? And you guys will notice, like, hey, that lens on there looks a lot like the other one. So the subtle difference here is, so the EFS, right? So the EFS on there is essentially the denomination of the size of the lens, right? Which means that if it's EFS, it fits on a crop sensor, right? Which means that this sensor that's right inside there is a certain size, right? Well, the new camera that's here only takes EF, not the S, right? So EF lenses will actually fit in this old camera, but they won't go the other way. So the EFS won't fit into the new camera because it'll potentially damage that super expensive camera, right? So we don't want to do that. But one of the goofy things is, so if you guys actually look, at the, what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for here? Oh, no. If you guys look at the Amazon wish list, I actually kind of amended it a little bit. So just in case, I I don't know. It's the weirdest thing to even have an Amazon wish list and be like, hey, people send me stuff. I don't know. But that's super weird in its own right. But if I amended it just to make sure that nobody accidentally sends me like the wrong thing if somebody is feeling crazy generous or whatever. I'm not saying anybody has to. It's really... Because I've gotten some criticism recently that people are like, oh, this guy's just like all about the money or whatever. And I'm not. It's just a reality that people request, like the availability for this kind of stuff. And so it's sitting there. But if anybody wanted to go look at the list, you can. And just to point out, if you do go look at the list, you're like, wow, each lens can be like $1,000. It's like, in the photography world, here's the crazy thing. $1,000 really isn't that expensive of a lens. If you go hang around with a couple of real photographers, like I'm not a real photographer, but I go hang out with some real photographers. They're like, oh yeah, that lens over there, which they, by the way, they commonly refer to as glass. So they go, oh, that glass over there, that one's 12 grand. Like $12,000? Oh, and I'll tell you this much. I might be inclined, if I had $12,000, to just do an 800-gallon aquarium like Corey did instead of getting a lens for my aquarium. Guppy Guru says, I'll buy the old camera off me. That might be a possibility. I don't know if you're in Tacoma or whatever. Feel free to send me an email. People can always email me for free. It is for free because it's an email. And if you're watching me on the internet, then you should probably be ready to email. You can always email me at joel@darkstararts.com. All right. So, if like maybe you want to buy that camera or something and you're in the area, I don't think I'm going to, I don't think I would ship that thing anywhere. I just wouldn't trust it. I mean, maybe I could, but, let's see here. Okay, so there's my email into the chat there. So if anybody needs to send me an email, like you want to buy a camera or something along those lines or anything like that. So, yes. All right. So back to the fish stuff. Never you mind. I'm crazy excited about realistically shooting a ton of video with this, putting it on the new jib, flying it around. It's pretty intense, honestly. It's pretty intense. So I feel like really intense, and then so I eat some cookies. You know what I mean? So I end up eating some cookies. Wasabi Tsunami says, hit Casey Neistat up for a camera. Yeah, I think he gives them away sometimes. I'm not sure. Mellow Moogle says, if you're ordering from the Aquarium Co-op, be sure to use the link in the video description. Oh, that's right. Yeah, there is a new thing. So if you guys are going to order from the Aquarium Co-op, then there will be a link. There's be a link down in the description of some of the videos. It's actually just a portal that just takes you right to the Aquarium Co-op, and just feel free to order and do whatever you want from there. If you go through that portal, it just basically tells Corey that I sent you. Instead of Aqua Pros sending you, then I sent you, and then they go, oh yeah, it was Corvus, man. It wasn't Shakespeare. And I am told that Shakespeare was making a video of having come over here. I think he said it was going to come out like this week or something like that. And so if you guys aren't subscribed to him, I would subscribe to him, because there might be a video of me doing stuff on his channel, right, at some point in time. Well, we have a $5 super chat from Wichita Falls Fish Keeper. Wichita Falls Fish Keeper. Wichita Falls Fish Keeper. Right? Is that how that goes? $5 super chat saying, when cherry shrimp are shipped, would you add any additives to the water to protect the shrimp? Thanks. Okay, so when I used to ship shrimp, which I realistically don't now, although I have a couple of bags of shrimp to send out, just by happenstance, I'm going to be sending those out. So maybe I'll make a little video of it, but I can give you a quick description whilst I wave my hands around and let you guys know kind of typically the way that I would go about doing that. So what I would do is, back in the day, what I would do is I would take an air stone and I would drop it into a bucket of tank water. So I would basically bring down like 2-3 gallons into a 5-gallon bucket from the tank. Then I would put an air stone in there and just let the air stone go to town. Then I would take like, I don't know, a quarter of a teaspoon, half a teaspoon of safe. Drop that in there. Just make sure all the ammonia, everything is just all neutralized. Then I would net out shrimp and add them to that bucket. And then out of that water that was pretty well oxygenated from the air bubbling around in there, also having the safe in the bucket is going to make sure that a lot of that ammonia is neutralized. Then I would also take a chunk of Java moss and throw that in with the shrimp, just to give them something to cling to, something to hang out on, and something to just kind of pick on or whatnot. Then put them into a breather bag, load them up into a box, and that's how I used to do it, and that's the recommendation I would do. So not really too many additives to add to the water. The biggest additive you want to make sure is in there is just a good amount of oxygen. You just want to start out with some nicely oxygenated water. That's going to be the big main contributor. Hopefully wherever you're shipping them to, people are they're gonna take them out of the bag properly, get them acclimated pretty quickly, and get them into some clean water. So hopefully, you know, and hopefully all that stuff works out by that point, because typically UPS, those guys, they're all like playing soccer with the packages and stuff like that, kicking them down the street. So sometimes they get rattled around and beat up and stuff like that. So I would just bear that in mind and keep that in the forefront. Just keep it oxygenated, and then make sure that you're cooling out on the any extra ammonia in there. And Flip Wilson with the $5 super chat with no question on it. Just a shout out into the tip jar. Thanks, my man. That all goes back into rocking and rolling, trying to make more content for you guys, you know, make more content of stuff that's going on. And hopefully you guys are pleased, at least in the direction that we're going. You know, I feel like we're going the right direction. I feel like good things are happening. I gotta get, what happened here? I gotta get the new pop-out chat. What happened here with the old computer? What's going on? Let's see. Hey, Rob. Who's Rob? I don't see Rob. Flip Wilson's not Rob. Flip Aquatics is Rob. Flip Wilson's a different guy. Rob Hicks Aquariums. Oh, different Rob. Oh, okay. We were here among royalty. Yo, Flip Wilson. I don't know who Flip Wilson is. Do I not? All right. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to the channel. Okay, he doesn't have any content. All right, well, I'm confused. Either way, well, hey, thank you for the $5 super chat. Definitely appreciate it. Thanks for chipping in. There's no question on there or anything. Just sounds like just kicking in. Cool. Dig it. Let's see. Let's pick a couple questions out of the chat here. G-Bear says $1,000 is cheap in the photo world. Oh, yeah, for lenses? Yeah, $1,000 is like a drop in the bucket, you know. Donald Fish Vibes Ed says those camera prices are for taking nonsense shots, not fish. Actually, believe it or not, the photo prices and stuff like that are very important in the fish world are, for instance, with a full frame camera like this and a and a macro lens on it, which is actually in the wish list there. That's going to be one of the biggest lenses that I'm going to need, is to be able to utilize a macro lens is how I'm going to be able to get really species-specific shots that are really big and really, really, really detailed. So I'm looking forward to be able to actually take some of those shots and then being able to blow them up and utilize and do some bigger projects for them. 54 Punchy says the lens she wants is only $32,000. That's pretty gangster. Is it like a full-on operational telescope? That is pretty wild. But I would say I'm not super shocked until people start getting into the $100,000 camera gear. Then I'm like, whoa. But 32 grand, I looked at a $32,000 camera the other day and was like, oh, that's pretty reasonable. And I don't even know what is wrong with my brain when I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds reasonable. Doesn't even make eggs. Doesn't even cook eggs, bro. So, you know, I would be a little bit, I wonder for sure what's wrong with my brain when I'm thinking that a $32,000 camera is reasonable. I don't know. It's totally nuts. But maybe I got to up my game and put that into the wish list in case Paul Allen comes along or Jeff Bezos comes along. I'm gonna have to just throw that in there just to make sure, you know, just to make sure, just in case, right? Multi-tank addiction is here. What is up when setting up a brine shrimp hatchery? Is it important to use a clear bottle, or can it be old Mountain Dew bottles? Does it have to be clear? No, actually, it doesn't have to be clear. It's actually just a little bit easier to use a clear bottle because you can see exactly what's going on. That would be the real advantage, and maybe lets light in better than those green bottles. Dan Squires says, just get two in case one of them breaks. Now that makes sense. 54 Punchy says, driving a truck that probably isn't even worth $1,000. That's right. We'll drive around our $500 pickups with a $32,000 camera in them, right? That realistically is something. That is something I would do. That is 100% something I would do, is drive around a truck that basically costs nothing and drive around with a $5,000 worth of camera equipment. That is something I've been known to do. That is for sure. Michael Agostino just Googled Alaska earthquake showing 5.1. That is very common in Alaska. They constantly have earthquakes up there. Famous Jones says, just received an aquarium co-op order of small fry food and small Aquatop sponge filter. Ah, right on. That's awesome. Joel Hernandez is here. You, my friend, are awesome. Well, I don't know if you're talking to me, but either way, I like comments like that. That's just friendly. He's probably not even talking about me, but either way, I still like it. Wichita Fish Keeper, an old Glenn Campbell song. I like that, Mateo. I'd listen to that jam. Ed's Fish, hey, I have a question switching over to sponge filters from an AquaClear 50, lightly stocked. How long after I add the sponges can I remove the AquaClear? I would say 3 to 4 days just to be pretty well assured that the new sponge filter is going to have some bacteria on it and the colony is going to get rocking or rolling. You can always take the AquaClear filter off, take the sponge portion out, and just float it in your aquarium if you're tired of having the AquaClear on there for whatever reason. You know. Aqua Naturalist says 32,000. That's how much my toolbox and tools is worth. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that at all. I do have quite a bit of tools to do quite a bit of things. That's for sure. Petite Bro is here. 32,000 lens or $32,000 fish tanks that will make you money from all the views from your $1,000 camera and lens. Well, I mean, if I had 32 grand to spend, I probably wouldn't spend 32 grand on all camera equipment. I definitely would at least consider setting up some new tanks. New pond projects and stuff are going in this year, along with some the aquaponics and things along those lines. So I definitely do have some projects up and coming, which I would definitely put some of the money into that. So, you know, it would be, you know, I don't know. It would just be, as Vicky likes to call me, she likes to call me cheap, I think. I think that's the word that she uses, is super cheap. I believe that I am thrifty and try to stretch my dollar. I try to wait for things to go on sale. I try to wait for things to go on closeout. All that kind of stuff. I try to find the best deal that I can to get the best thing that, the best thing for whatever I am doing. So, and I also am 100% willing to put in a lot of legwork if that's going to save money out of pocket. That's for sure. So, I think somebody was, I had a video earlier this week showing you guys how to make a CO2 reactor, which I think people like that video. I don't know. I couldn't tell. But I'm pretty sure people like that video. And somebody was asking me about the price breakdown, and I was like, yep, that's where you're going to find that's where you're going to find some of the inequity here, is that if you're like me, a bunch of the parts are basically free because I just have them lying around. They still cost money, but I already have them from other projects. So it may or may not save you a lot of money if you're making your own CO2 reactor, but you could always just order one off of Amazon or something along those lines. So Donald Fish Vibes Ed says, what size pond are you building? That is sort of to be determined. I'm trying to remember. It's going to be, if somebody could do the math for me. Let me see here. Hold on. Maybe I can type it in. 8 by 8 by 6. I hate this keyboard. Well, that's not helping. Come on, internet. Let's see. Multiply 512. Oh, come on now. If it's 8 foot by 8 foot by 8 foot, 512 cubic feet. So equals 3838. So 512. So all right, fine. We'll do it this way. Stupid internet. Times 8. Okay, so it's going to be split between two 11,000 gallons is pretty much where we're going to be at. Don't tell that to Vicky. She's going to freak out. But that'll be the size, more or less, just depending on where some things are going to go. Oh, sorry. So not 11. 60. Oh, yeah. Yeah. How do I oops, I carried an extra 0. So, yes, 3,000 is 6 plus the 1,200 in the reserve. So, a total of 7,200, somewhere around there. I carried an extra 0. Sorry, my number was 28,800. I carried an extra 0. Sorry, guys. But so yeah, it'll be a 2800, a 2800, and then 4 300s is basically what the total will be. So yeah, just a little under 7,000 or whatever. So not totally out of control, but definitely big enough to do some of the stuff that that we're looking to do. And I'm just off the top of my head right now. That's kind of the number I came up with. But I'll definitely be giving you guys a full-on breakdown when that's happening. It's not happening right now, so I don't have any notes or any of the actual sizes of stuff that are going on, so I'm just kind of spitballing here in regards to a project that's not actually happening right now, but you know what I mean. But M. Howie 9 with a $5 super chat saying, love the show, money for the Michigan fund from a Michigander. I hope to make it out to Michigan. It would be great to make it out to Matt Weber's also again, if I can. Hang out with my old buddy out there, and hopefully we can make it out to Michigan. That would be fun. So yeah, no, sorry, not 11,000. That's not right. But I got the numbers wrong. I was splitting. Yeah, I carried an extra 0. So sorry about that, guys. But that's what the pond project will basically be: 8 by 8 by 6. Plus, there will be 2 of them. Plus, there'll be retaining ponds and filters for other stuff. But it'll be pretty fun. Famous Jones needs to borrow my camera to take a picture of the cherry shrimp landing on a plant leaf. That'd be pretty good. That would be pretty good. Let's do that. Douglas Palmer says, F. Flip Wilson, can you leave for 24 to 48 hours to dechlorinate, but we'll still have some nasty heavy elements in it? Okay, so we got people talking about water. Flip Wilson asking, can you dechlorinate tap water by just letting air run into it for a couple of days? Yes. Yes, you can. That will actually dechlorinate the water. And not... realistically, if you're going to do that, I would realistically... I'm trying to think. Yeah, 2 days would be fine. Overnight would be fine. Basically, that's what we used to do with all of the... We used to bleach all of the equipment and rocks and stuff like that. We would first put them in a bucket of tap water, just kind of rinse it off, and then we would just let them air dry. And chlorine will for sure evaporate big time. Yes? You all dirty face? Okay. That mask is gross. Vicky stopped by to say hi and show off how gross her breathing mask is. Douglas Palmer's asking if he was wrong. You can leave it for 24 to 48 hours to dechlorinate, but we'll still have some nasty heavy elements in it. I wouldn't worry too much about it. The heavy, any kind of heavy metals or any of that kind of stuff, most people would already know about it. So if people are concerned about dechlorinating, I would just get Safe. I use Safe instead of Prime. I use Safe because it's powdered form and it goes a really long way. So yeah, but there may or may not be chemicals in anybody's water. I don't know what anybody's water is like necessarily, except for mine here that I deal with in Western Washington. So but I wouldn't worry too much about it. But it will gas off the chlorine, based on that question. So, all right. Oh, we're after 4 o'clock, you guys. We got to go to the video time. I just got to keep you guys appraised of what's going on with the shrimp tank that we were working on earlier this week, and make sure that everybody knows what is happening and what is going on. And let me see while you guys are catching up with some of the stuff that's going on there. What happened to my... what happened to my screen capture? My screen capture went away, you guys. I gotta add source, devices, screen capture. Oh, here we go. Whoops. Wait, what? Oh, I hit the button wrong. And let's do like this. Squidoo! Yeah, check that out. Yeah, it's working. Okay, cool. Now let me turn that off while you guys watch the video portion of the show. I've been rolling along here with this 150, and honestly, I just ran into a brick wall today as I was moving all this stuff around, I still don't have it to where I want it to be. It just really isn't there. Even after... you know, dedicating a good amount of time today after all the other stuff we did earlier, and we got stuff going on tonight too, which is, it's going to be a long day, but that's fine. It's going to be a long weekend also. You have to work all weekend. Ow. Oh, hit my weights down here. Whoops. Bashed my toe on there. Sorry. But I'm still not happy of what is going on with this aquarium at this point. The aquascape is terrible. You guys can tell I'm like moving things around. I'm constantly trying to figure out where things are supposed to be going. What is this? There's like a crazy breeze blowing on my leg. It's like somebody installed a fan down here. Like air conditioning is blowing up from under my desk. I don't know why, but it's probably ghosts. Probably got something to do with Frank. But I've still been consistently just kind of running into a wall with this aquarium currently, because I just can't get the rocks to sit right. I just can't get a few things to come in. And so one of the cool things about that is, like, even when I'm having... realistically, even when I'm having problems like this, like figuring out exactly where I want everything to go and stuff like that, I can always just remind, like, viewers, fans, whatever you guys want to call yourselves, Fish Fam, the unit, the squad, the militia. What do I call you guys? Do I call you guys the Corvus Militia? Is that what it is? Is that what I call you guys? The squad? The team? But just to remind you guys that it's just a never-ending like, just keep trying type situation. I just have to keep moving stuff around. I just have to keep working on it, keep moving plants around, figuring out where things that I want them to be, because there isn't really necessarily a right and wrong way. It's almost like you know, it's just like a preference situation, because yes, I could have some plants planted in the wrong spot. Like, I want more light on some plants and less light on some other plants, or, you know, things of that nature, which can or can't be important for the growth or benefit of some plants, right? But on top of it, the thing is, I can't necessarily get it wrong, because once I know it's right, then I'll know it's right. Because it's just an opinion thing. Like, once it vibes with me, I'll know, like, oh wow, I've got everything in the right spot. I've got everything flowing in the direction that I want it to go. So I couldn't necessarily just tell somebody whether they did something right or wrong, except for in the fact that, like, oh, that plant won't like to grow there. But other than that, this is going to be one of those situations where I just have to keep working. And so that's what I'm going to keep doing. Unfortunately, it's made for sort of the same kind of video segment throughout the week, but hopefully you guys have been following along and are at least, like, kind of entertained to figure out, like, oh man, that's like how stuff like this gets put together. Just like hours and hours of messing around with it is really how you get to where you're going. With a, you know, it's a 150 gallon aquarium. It's definitely not the biggest. I wish it was bigger, honestly, but you know what I mean? Like, I wish it was bigger. I wish it was 400 gallons or something. But, you know, that's just me being a goofball. I just want more space to grow more plants and grow more scapes and do all that stuff. So, there's lots of shrimp swimming around in here, constantly being in the way the whole entire time. But I am enthusiastic to say that this tank is definitely coming along. It's definitely heading where I want it to go. I hope to be able to, you know, get some images out, probably on like Instagram or something like that, or possibly get some video, edit it all down, and be like, "Yo, you want to have a big old, shrimp tank yourself? Here's how you do it," you know. And then I'd be all like, "Oh man, Shrimpy McShrimperton, big old shrimp tank. You want to be cool like me? You make yourself a big old Shrimpy McShrimp tank." I will remind the people out there that you know, this aquarium actually took a lot of work to get this thing put back together. Took a lot of work to go get it. I had to play the long game too, to wait for it forever. I'm very excited about where it's going now. I mean, it's just, it's hard to say that I've got bad news other than just like a lot of work ahead of me. I'm also working on some kind of other tedious projects. So at some point in time, I'm going to get a project that is more slap and dash, and I'll be able to hammer through it, maybe dig some holes somewhere, something quick like that. But most everything has been turning into long projects, like even this aquarium here has been turning into a long project. So, but hopefully I'll be hitting some soon that are just kind of more fun. I was talking to Jimmy the other day about maybe, hey, let's try to do some funner projects, but he's none too interested. He just says I was no fun, and you know, I'm a poopy poop, and he doesn't want to do them. It's a good way to lure him out if he's lurking in the chat, to say that he said I was poopy poop. 54 Punchy says, every tank I do turns into an overgrown jungle, and she needs bigger tanks. That's right. I would agree. I would agree that you need bigger tanks. Everybody needs bigger tanks. Bigger, better tanks. Yes, everybody should definitely get bigger tanks. Sean Nebula, ever build some big DIY acrylic tanks? Yeah, I have. It's not my favorite thing in the world to do. Too much polishing and nonsense. And I don't have a giant kiln or anything like that. Somebody's knocking at the door. Uh-oh. I better check it. Are you here? Vicky, somebody's here for you. Oh man, Vicky's got a visitor. So I think I got it handled. All right. So, let's see. Bobby Rosenbaum saying, I love this tank. Yeah, I'm loving this tank too. It's definitely coming along pretty well. I'm pretty excited about how things are coming, even though it has been a bit of a struggle to get to where I'm at now. That's been all right, but you know, I feel like it's definitely coming along, and I'm still enthusiastic about it. I definitely have to admit that this rock is definitely spectacular. My guppies in here are still being a pain in the buns because I'm like, dude, have your babies already. They're not having their babies, and I don't know why. She's pregnant, and they're just not passing it on. Let's see. Barbara Jackson's asking, Joel, what's the lighter green plants waving in the water? That is Pogostemon stellata octopus. Pogostemon stellatus. And if you're actually looking for some of that, I know the Aquarium Co-op carries it. Link down below to go to the Aquarium Co-op and order some of those plants if you want them. I literally got them from there. I was like, I was sneaking around with old Shakespeare there, the Aqua Pros, and while Rob and him were trying to steal everybody blind from the place, I was like, hey, can I have some plants from the manager? And it worked out. It worked out because I had permission. So, Sean Nebula saying, see prices on 100-plus gallon acrylics and want to do DIY. Yeah, it's actually one of those things that you definitely can DIY it. It's really not that hard if you have a good teacher or somebody like that that can teach you how to do it. I know there's some big channels out there that definitely have done acrylic tanks along those lines, but they had people helping them. So I wouldn't recommend somebody to just go out and do it, you know, willy-nilly, like, hey, I'm just going to make a thing. Once you get into the really big tanks, it actually does get a little bit crazy. Even though it is simple, it does get a little bit nutty, realistically. So if you have somebody that can teach you to do it, I would do that, and I would go that route. But yeah, like I mentioned before, there are some people out there that have definitely skipped some steps in their videos and stuff like that, with all the people helping out. You know what I mean? But Robert Recapito, like if you, or sorry, not like Robert Recapito. Robert Recapito busting out with a $2 super chat, Anubius on a stick, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, it's on a stick. There is some hostifolia in there on a stick. You guys might recognize that from something that may or may not have happened. Randy Hightower says, you've mentioned fluorite black sand in the past. Is it fine enough for silver loaches and other digging critters? Yes. As a matter of fact, it is. It does have kind of a light fluffiness to it, and it really is a fine sand. It really is nice and fine. So like Corys with their barbels and stuff like that, they have no problems kind of digging around in there and not getting torn up or anything like that. So it is pretty soft in the fact that, I mean, if you put it on paper, you could probably use it as like maybe like a 180 grit or something like that. I mean, maybe it wouldn't be as fine as like 220 or 600 or anything like that, but it is fine enough for you know, any of the fish that need fine sand or anything along those lines. Wandering Aquatics asks, do you have to pay taxes on Patreon? Yes, you have to pay taxes on everything in the United States. It doesn't matter what you do, you have to pay taxes all the time on everything, whether it's YouTube money, which, by the way, is one of the big reasons for the Patreon, is that, you know, YouTube takes a giant percentage off the top, and then you still pay 39% taxes on that. So give you guys a couple quick answers there on the taxes. And then on Patreon, yes, you have to pay taxes on that. But you also have to remember that if somebody out there has a big GoFundMe, they don't have to pay taxes on that because those are donation contributions as a one-time thing. But Wandering Aquatics, yes, I have to pay taxes in the top tax bracket, pretty much. Even though I don't make top tax bracket money, it has to be paid out that way. And then they'll figure out at the end of the year if I'm supposed to get any of it back or not, which they generally just say, no, we're going to keep it. David Knott Sr. says, Joel, never did anything planted. How do you clean the substrate? Regular vacuuming? Well, kind of one of the big reasons for having plants is that you don't have to clean the substrate. That's kind of part of the ecosystem. If you're cleaning things out of the substrate, it's generally either going to be leftover food or fish feces or shrimp feces or any of that kind of stuff. Not really necessary in a proper ecosystem with a lot of plants growing in it. So that's definitely one of the big time advantages, other than it being super beautiful and getting more beautiful over time. One of the big advantages is that it is a small ecosystem and the plants are chewing up all that nasties. All of the nasties from, you know, the wasteful things that could be going on in there in the aquarium. So that's one of the great things about it. You don't really have to vacuum very often or at all. I mean, I never really do. It's pretty, well, maybe once a year or something, I might do a little bit of fine vacuuming around just to make it look a little bit prettier. But Debbie Swan is asking, do I have a post office box? No, but anything that you wish, if somebody has something they want to send to me or something like that, you can send it to the Aquarium Co-op in Edmonds. You can find their address on there and just put care of Corvus on there. Recently got some plants from Drew Schmidt, from Drew himself. Sent me some rosefolia that I couldn't find here locally. I couldn't find it here locally. He was like, I'm trimming a bunch of plants. So he sent them out. It was fantastic and very much appreciated. And it's one of those things that, yeah, you can just send it out to the Aquarium Co-op care of me, and they'll let me know. All right. So, all right, there we go. We're into that part. And then now I think we're going to have to go. I wonder if we can do this. Let me see. Let me see if I can't do something here. I'm going to go like that. Then I'm going to scoot it over here. Then I wonder if I can't. There's got to be a way to do it. There's got to be a way to do this. Where is it? So I'm going to move this one up here. Check this out. Oh, now I'm back. Okay, cool. Now I'm back. And then now we can just look through this stuff. Check this out. I'm going to size it. Then we're going to center it like right here. I wonder if we can make it a little bigger. Oh, yeah, there we go. Come on now. Come on, meow. We're going to make it a little bit bigger so it fits correctly here. Come on, man. That's the crazy, goofiest layout I've ever seen. All right. Well, that's kind of weird. Let's size. Maybe we'll size this down just a little bit, and then we'll go like that, and we'll make it float. Ha! There we go. Okay. All right. So there we go. Let's get back onto whatever we're doing here. All right, so this is Sarah Kanopko sent this in, right? Saying, I have a 12-gallon back up and running after I didn't quarantine the new fish disaster. It stays at 80 without a heater. Stocking ideas, and then we were definitely talking about the fact that it's 80 degrees with no heater. Woohoo! And I was like, how hot is it in your house? That's crazy. And she's saying that it's super hot upstairs in her office. So Sarah Konopko, I would say my stocking idea here for an 80-gallon aquarium of about this size is I would say any of the Apistogrammas are going to be a great addition to this aquarium because at that warm level, that's definitely what I would go for. You know, plant this out a little bit, give them some heighty areas, and at 80 degrees, they're going to love it. They're going to hang out in there and do all that fun stuff that they like doing, like Apistos like to do, which eat food and generally swim around and make babies. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much all they do, realistically. But they're really cool fish. I would say Apistogramma, you know, Agassiz or anything like that would be fantastic, and they would like that temperature for sure. Moving on to Spencer Ballard. Says, setting up a 10-gallon shrimp tank for my daughter. Been doing a fishless cycle with ammonia plants, mosses. She wants multiple colors. I don't have the parameters. It's Lake Michigan water, about 7.4 pH. Any suggestion on varieties to try if she wants a mix of colors? Well, you could always find some cheap Neocaradinas, like cherry shrimps and stuff like that, that you can find a mixture of colors. But I would bear in mind that if you are going to mix a bunch of the colors, they will eventually end up breeding out to brown, as that the wild variety is what they'll end up coming down to. So I would bear that in mind, Mr. Ballard. But at 7.4, you're pretty much fine to do any kind of cherry shrimp. It's not really going to be that big of a deal, but what you're going to most want to pay attention to is to make sure that your parameters are staying nice and steady. That's going to be the biggest issue that you would want to watch out for cherry shrimp or shrimp of any kind for that matter, is just to make sure that you're nice and very consistent water quality. And consistent pH, and they'll do fine in that 7.4, no problem at all. And they do come in a variety of colors. Just bear in mind that they'll end up going wild on you. Travis Boyette chimed in on the 10th and said, "Hey, Joel, just watched Friday's show. Thanks for the shout-outs." You're very welcome, Travis. Thanks for being a part of the community fam army squadettes. I'm gonna call you all the squadettes. I think I'll probably forget that, though. Honestly, I'll probably forget that. And as funny as it would be, I'm gonna call you the squadettes for today. All right, moving on up the line here. We come up to Nathaniel John just posting in an awesome beta shot of a beta stuffing his face with frozen bloodworms. I'm loving that. That is fantastic. If anybody's wondering where all these questions and photos and stuff are coming from, this has come from the Patreon community page, just to give you guys an idea. And DMC of the Sea sent in a great picture here. Rolled the dice on some cherry shrimp today. Threw them in my snail grow-out tank with a lot of algae and moss. They seem to be settling in nicely, but only time will tell. I will tell you, DMC of the Seas getting a bunch of shout-outs today from yours truly, because he will actually be in the section later. Kelly Peterson sent in a picture from Sunday. She got some new orange Reely shrimp, and they're home from the swap meet, and they've been acclimated to the water. We're just waiting for the final temperature adjustment, and they're ready to get set loose. This is awesome. I'm super enthusiastic when anybody gets Reely shrimp. I love Reely shrimp, man. They are awesome, and I have to admit, I'm a little bit jealous. I'm a little jealous. It would have been pretty nice to get some of those myself, but I wasn't at that swap. I wasn't at that swap, you guys. Let's see. On February 12th, we got a thing from GetFace. I thought I'd share a quick and dirty video of my new tank setup and descent into multiple tank syndrome. This is my third tank. Plan is to stock with a beta and some Corys, just waiting for it to cycle. That's awesome, brother. here's also a great thing about the Patreon. It's a good spot to post maybe some new videos or things that you got going on. Daniel Squires coming in with some winning this week with the creativity. Episode 65,151. I have apparently bred my own guppy shrimps here that for some reason seem to have eye problems. Like they actually have to wear eyeglasses, which is a little bit odd because I figured I would have bred in the beard quality for sure, right? But I probably would have skipped out with them having bad eyesight. I think I would have hopefully bred them to have good eyesight. That would have been pretty cool. It kind of would have been a better deal, I think, personally, if I had bred them to be able to see and not have to wear eyeglasses or contacts for that matter. Maybe I could get them LASIK at some point. I don't know. But, you know, episode 65,000, that's going to be a ways off, and I don't even know how far off in the future. Hopefully they have something better than LASIK or glasses in the future. I think that'd be good. Callie Peterson has been super active this week. She's got a lot of cool stuff going on with her aquariums, along with her shrimp and things. And she actually added some shrimp caves for her new Really Shrimp, which are awesome. And that's always a great thing to point out to anybody who is going to be stepping into their shrimp game. It is always a great idea to at least give them some kind of caves in the rocks or some kind of, you know, man-made little shrimp cavery like this, which this is a lot easier to clean than the possibility of having a bunch of shrimp doo-doo in a rock cave or anything like that. So it is helpful to and it's a great thing to help them breed and let them feel safe and stuff like that. I don't think there could be too many shrimp posts for sure. I don't think. Elizabeth Rogers on the 13th sent in a fantastic post here, definitely going into some extremely good detail here. I hope Elizabeth's here or listening to this later because we're going to address some of this right now. Okay. Hi, Joel. I've been battling algae in my 55-gallon Planet goldfish tank since I set it up in September. I've had BBA, diatoms, and green algae. I have sand substrate, zero ammonia, nitrites, and nitrates are at 10 to 15, pH 7.4. Cool. That's all fine. That sounds great. She dimmed the Fluval 2.0 to about 50%, cut it to 6 hours on, did weekly big water changes, and used triple dose Excel for a week, then easy carbon normal dose daily, until my Anubias leaves started floating away dead. I got control of the algae when I added 5 Nerite snails, loving them snails. Now that I've cut back on water changes to help the plants, I've been using Easy Green and Easy Iron 2. And I'm wondering about increasing light duration on the tank. I'd really like to be able to see the tank more than 6 or even 8 hours a day. So, hold it. Oh, that was a full-on sneeze, you guys. Excuse me. Sorry about that sneezing. All right. Finally, the question, do you think dimming the light more would mean I could have the lights on longer without getting more algae, i.e. is the stimulation of algae growth a product of both light duration and light intensity? Do you have any feeling for which makes more of a difference? Okay, so we did go over this the other day on Real Fish Talk. This question, I think somebody else brought this question up. I think they were asking about some of the you know, light cycle issues and stuff along those lines. Me personally, I don't go over an 8-hour. I don't go over an 8-hour period for my lights, just because you definitely do start to run into some algae issues and things along those lines. But if you do have a tank situation where it needs to be lighted longer, then one of the things I would do is I would use auxiliary lighting that isn't going to be photosynthetic, okay? Which can be a little bit weird, but you essentially would
need to find some lights that aren't going to have any par or purr to them, but just enough so that you can be able to see, so you can have the tank lit for an extended period of time. For instance, this often comes up in like restaurant applications, or like well, maybe not a dentist's office because they're not open that much, but certain businesses that are open for long periods of time, or like far into the night, like maybe a bar or something, is that oftentimes they need to be lit by something like blue light, maybe a purple light or whatever that just doesn't have any photosynthetic radiation to it at all. So it's actually just going to not activate their photosynthesis, which would normally be like a 2500K bulb or something like that. So you'd actually just be lighting it so that you can see. Yeah, JH Aquatics just said Cree LED have only 2700K. It wouldn't be great for LED because of how directional they work. But I would look into finding a lighting situation that doesn't have any par to it, and then or per what is it, parenthetic usable radiation is what the per is. But that's what I would look into, so you could actually just view it. Like on the Fluval 2.0, they actually have the blue lights, the night lights. That would be an example that doesn't necessarily look that great because it is bright blue, but that's a light that doesn't activate photosynthesis or anything along those lines. So that's what I would definitely look into if you were looking to light it for a longer period of time. Now, hopefully that answers that question. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, moving on to the next question from Aqua Fuzzy. Says, hey, Joel, I watched yours and Corey's vid on fertilizers, but I'm still a little confused. I use Seachem's Flourish, and I'm thinking of adding trace elements. I'm not sure if I should run anything else. I have a medium light tank, lightly planted, but more to come. I'm mildly allergic to easy green, so that's not an option. Any thoughts? Seachem's Flourish is going to be, you know, pretty comprehensive. I think it is fairly expensive. If you're allergic to easy green, I definitely wouldn't use that. I wouldn't necessarily look into trace elements, because if you're allergic to easy green but not Flourish, it's probably something in trace elements that you're going to be allergic to. I would bear in mind that oftentimes I rarely ever even add fertilizers to my aquariums, mainly because I kind of over supplement with a little bit of food, like never gravel vacking and any of that kind of stuff. So, and also I'm always breaking down organics with catappa leaves and all that kind of stuff in my sump. So there might be a little bit easier way for you to go here. If that's workable for you, maybe add some tannins and those kinds of things will definitely help out with increasing some of that stuff. You know, if you can't yeah, because I wouldn't add the trace elements, because you're probably going to be allergic to that. That would be the big caveat here. And you don't. Last thing you'd want to do is be allergic to your aquarium. So that's what I would probably look into, a little more natural way of fertilizing if you can. Oh, and Kelly Peterson with the pregnant really shrimps, loving it, buried. All right, you guys. Is anybody out there like really concerned that I love shrimp? Because I really love shrimp. I mean, you know, I really do. Michael Cowan, a.k.a. Wichita Falls Fish Keeper, asking, question for you shrimp breeders. If I keep Caridina shrimp and use RO water, will Seachem Equilibrium do the same thing as salty shrimp shrimp GH? Thanks in advance. Honestly, my goal for a really long time with keeping my crystal shrimp was to make sure that I wasn't using RO water except for top-offs. That's all I was doing. So typically what I would recommend to people is not necessarily worrying too much about which item that you're dosing in order to bring up your KH and GH a little bit here and there. Most of them will do the trick, so I wouldn't worry too much Whether you're using Seachem or a different company, I think you'll be all right. But just be remembering to be testing quite a bit if you are adding chemicals into that situation. What's going on here? What is my phone doing? You guys, what is this? Sorry, my phone's doing something crazy. Gotta figure out what's going on. Oh, from Patreon. What happened? Oh, okay. Sorry. Robert posted, and we're going to get to that. So if you are supplementing for your shrimp and stuff like that, especially, caradinas and things like that, I would just consider some calcium supplement and catappa leaves, keep some tannins rocking and those kinds of things. It's actually going to be the easiest way to go about it. But if you are using Seachem Equilibrium and that is working for your budget and you're ordering and all that kind of stuff, they are going to be very, very close. I wouldn't be too concerned about using one company or the other. Sarah's Little Fish was chiming in saying, hey, Joel, I was wondering if you could do a short update video on your reef tank with what all you have in it. I love your videos. They are amazing. Hey, I tell you what, yes, I can do a video on that, and I will be doing some videos coming up fairly soon. I don't know exactly when, so don't hold me to a specific date, but I will be doing some more reef stuff coming up fairly soon, and there will possibly be some even bigger reef projects coming down the line, so I would stay tuned for that kind of stuff. And all you salty people that like the salty McSalty stuff, don't worry, never fear. It's always something that I'm kind of messing around when I can. And the follow-up question is, did you ever get your truck fixed after the insurance people were being buttheads? No, they're still being buttheads. And my truck is not fixed. Still broken. Can't pull a trailer. Can't do anything like that. And it's generally just getting worse and worse. But never fear, it shall get sorted one way or another. We had a quick action shot here from Admiral Blackbeard chiming in with aquarium plant made easy. It's totally robust. His tank is growing wildly out of control, and I do love it. Thank you very much. I love that. I love that for sure. Now, here's something that I'm looking forward to keeping an eye on at some point. GetFace found some mosses outside. It's kind of a long post, so I'm not going to read the whole thing off, but maybe at some point you guys go to the Patreon. But he basically found some moss outside. He's going to see if he can convert it to submerged, which I'm excited to see if it actually works or not, because I've had really mixed results with getting stuff from outside, and it has worked out sometimes, and it has not worked out sometimes. So, but I'm excited to see how it goes. Hopefully it doesn't ruin anything in his tank. I don't think it will, but it might. Megan Ness asking about Bacopa, which recently trimmed 8 inches off the top of my Bacopa and put ends into the substrate. The ends are rotting instead of growing new roots. Any suggestions? I use root tabs and fertilizer from the aquarium coop. All right, Bacopa is one of those plants that you're going to need to wait until it either has aerial roots or cut the tops off and let them float and allow them to root while they're floating around in the water. Once they have some of those roots, you'll be able to replant them back into the substrate, and that's going to be the best route to go. If you actually just stuff the stem in there and it's not ready to actually send roots down, it will rot it out. So I'm not super surprised to hear that that's what's going on. But I always float specific plants that need them to be floated. So I would definitely go that way. Try to catch up with the chat here a little bit and see what's going on. Flip Wilson says, all my shrimp tanks use the same water I use for my cichlids. Once acclimated, consistency is the key. Yeah, it's the biggest thing I would always recommend to people is that consistency with your tanks, regardless of what's in them, is the most important thing that you're definitely going to be able to follow to continue moving along. Let's see. Freshman Aquatics. Hey, Joel, just found 3 tiny guppy fry in my 10-gallon. Sadly, the last adult guppy passed away today. I think she might have died during birth. That does happen sometimes. I've definitely had that happen with the guppies previously. I'm really sorry to hear that. But maybe here's some good news. You're coming up on the show more so than just answering a question out of the chat. He's sent in. We're going to do a little preview of some of your YouTube action, but we gotta rock and roll through this as we go along. Lena Mend, so excited that I just have to share this. Finally got my hands on pea puffers and can't stop staring at them. I agree, and I fully understand. I love them pea puffers also, and they are just zazzed. They're just a great little addition to pretty much anybody's aquarium, and it's very excited. I'm very excited to hear that you got some. I know there's some people out there that are like, I can never get them. I can't find them. So, you know, but hopefully they come through. Marshall's Tread. Is it okay to grow crypts in clay pots, or is there a risk of them becoming root bound? Is there a size of pot you would recommend? I mean, they won't necessarily become root bound in pots. I wouldn't worry too much about them. I would use just like 2 to 3 inch pots, personally. But I probably wouldn't even put them in pots. I'm always planting and replanting crypts and yanking them out, moving them around, doing all sorts of stuff all the time. Wouldn't worry too much about them having to be in pots. But if that's the style you like, go ahead and you know, go ahead and do that. It'll be fine. Pamela Earlywine posted some sweet little pearl scales I got today, tubbing it through the quarantine, so no side views of the little golf balls yet. Totally cutie patootie fishes that we got there. And finally, Mary Shrek posting up with the new shirt action. Got the shirt in from the Teesprings. Sending it on in. Definitely appreciate it very much. That's awesome. And thanks for ordering a shirt and everything. Okay. Got a couple things to get here real quick. Did have a couple of emails. One from the Robot Aquarium, which I mentioned earlier. Robot Aquariums. So we're not going to run into that again. But we did get a message from... Oh, hold on. I don't want to... We did get a message from DMC of the Sea, and he's got a new channel, and he's got some videos on there, and he's definitely looking for some help, a little bit of critique. I like what he's doing, and I definitely think he's got a lot of opportunity to keep doing what he's doing and just make it a little bit better. I would definitely look into getting some different camera angles. I do like the time lapse, that's for sure. And I definitely appreciate these sort of, I don't know if, I hope it's complimentary. It doesn't sound bad, but the screensaver type tank shots, you know what I mean? Oh, whoops, I got the screen capture on the wrong thing, you guys. Boop. Zip. Aha! There we go. But DMC of the Sea definitely sent in, was looking for a little bit of follow-up. If people could possibly give some video a shot, maybe a little bit of critique. Check it out. There he is right in the chat right there. I definitely like where it's going. It's definitely got some skill for sure. Your first videos are much better than my first videos, I'll tell you that much. So I think you're on the right track, that's for sure. And at the beginning of the show here, we were talking about years and years ago, people commenting on videos of mine from years and years ago, and I went back and occasionally look at them and go like, what was I doing? I don't know. And some of them are terrible and all that kind of stuff, but like I said, maybe I'm in the middle. Maybe I'm in the middle of the road here. Hopefully, getting better and better. But maybe that's a sign that you just keep working at it and you just get better and better every little tiny bit at a time, and you're able to just kind of, inch your way to having the vision look the way that you want it to be, right? So I would definitely check out DMC of the Seas channel and, you know, at least give them some comments, some positive feedback, and let them know what's going on. And that we do definitely, we are trying to support each other in our projects and stuff like that. You know, as you guys know, I do spend time here trying to help you guys out. This one of those things on Friday. Gives a shout outs to some of the new people, like we did Guppy's Fish Room the other day. Also, today on a little bit of a feature here, we've got Freshman Aquatics coming in at 13 years old with one of the, I have to say, Freshman Aquatics with one of the best written emails that I have seen in a long, long time. I do get a lot of emails, you guys, and oftentimes they're pretty good. They're pretty good. They're not, what's the word? Most of them are pretty good. Some of them, I'm not 100% sure what's happening with what's going on with them. But the Freshman Aquatics, this is one of the best written emails I've seen. And then I find out as I'm reading it, he's 13 years old. Right? And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. I don't know if he got somebody to proofread it, or if he's just amazingly talented. And then I go to his channel and I realize he's got some good stuff going on here also. Definitely starting out. Doesn't have a lot of subscriptions. Definitely working on figuring out exactly what they're wanting to do and stuff like that. But I like this. There's a video of the name change, so then you'll know what's happening, which I like it. I like that. It's good to let people know what's happening. So those are my 3 channels of the week: the Freshman Aquatics, the DMC of the Sea, and the Robots Aquariums or whatever that was. Yes, Robots Aquariums. There it is. Okay, so I would check out those 3 channels. Those are some of the local fish fammies or whatever. You know? Oh, everyone's saying goodbye to me. Oh, no, Gillett. Okay, Gillett's got to go. Gillett's got something more important to do, you guys. He's out in New Zealand. He's probably going to go eat sandwiches and hang out in the sun. So, yeah, check out those 3 channels. Give them some positive feedback. Let them know what's going on. Maybe give them some advice on things that maybe you guys are looking for or something along those lines. As you guys know, I get plenty of feedback, so don't worry too much about me. But go check out those guys' channels and give them some feedback. They would really like to hear it. And I'm sure as long as you guys are positive, we won't have to boot you out of the Army Squad fam. Militia, right? Oh, okay. All right. Definitely got some emails I'm going to need to get back to you guys. But thank you very much, everybody, for coming out this week. We're coming down to the end of the show. And I also want to say thank you for our super chatters today. Magic21 Mom kicking in for the Peru trip. Thank you very much. Wichita Falls Fish Keeper with the $5 super chat when Cherry Shrimp Action. Flip Wilson with the $5 super chat straight into the tip jar. M. Howie9, $5 super chat saying love the show, trying to get me out to Michigan. I definitely appreciate it. I would love to come out to Michigan again. I liked it out there last time, and I'll bet you I'd like it out there again. And I definitely want to come out and check out that big club out there and see what's going on. Maybe I can get me some guppies or something. Robert Recapito with a $2 super chat. Thank you very much to all the super chatters. Thank you very much to Victor for sending me cookies, man. That's amazing, and I'm super stoked for it. Driftin' Driftwood. All right. That's strike 1. Thank you, Driftin' Driftwood, for Strack 1. All right, so definitely want to go to Peru. Definitely want to go to Michigan. I think Michigan's going to be the most feasible. That's probably going to be the thing. But I'm looking forward to the possibility of being able to get back out there and definitely seeing some people in Michigan, having some fun, going to meet and greet and talks and presentations and all that kind of stuff, and doing presentations and all that, shooting video, checking out the crazy projects that people got going on out there. Also, I do look forward to trying to go to Peru and then checking things out there and doing the things that need to do. Let's see. Freshman Aquatics, thanks for the shout out. I really appreciate it. Hey man, I appreciate you guys emailing. I appreciate you guys all watching. Everything's a lot of things are piling on, but it's going to be good. There's going to be a lot of good things. A lot of good things that we're going to keep rolling on. You know what I mean? And moving forward. Also, I look forward to shooting some video with this thing over the weekend, hopefully getting something out cool to you guys sometime later next week, get it all edited up for you, and get it sent up. Let's see. Ed's Fish says, bye, see you later. Voeris is here, showing up. Chat, some advice needed. Bought a new aquarium on sale, but it has a small scratch on the inside. On the side, should I take it back, or is this common? I guess the question is it a glass tank that it has a scratch on it? I guess it has a, is it a glass tank, Voeris? I'd like to figure it out. I'd like to figure that out at some point. Oh, Mellow Moogle's saying purple waffle is actually the name of a house plant. Oh, okay. Well, it doesn't... All right, well, Driftin' Driftwood, sorry about timing you out, but, yeah, we'll get that sorted out, and no worries. I guess that actually is a house plant, and yes, I have accidentally bought house plants from PetSmart. I've accidentally bought houseplants from Petco. Both companies sell them sometimes. So if you are at a big box store, always remember to look up the varietal of what they're selling to make sure that it actually is an aquatic plant. I've gotten a lot of questions from people recently from the Hostifolia video from yesterday. People are like, are you sure it's an aquatic plant? Yes, I am sure it can do long-term underwater. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but it will last a long, long time. Just make sure it has a healthy environment. When plants die, typically people will blame it on the plant, like something's wrong with the plant. But Driftin' Driftwood, sorry about that. Little miscommunication on what you were chatting about in the chat. So, you know what I mean. Right? Voera says, yes, it is a glass tank, and it has a big scratch on the inside of it. I would definitely take it back, Voeris. If you bought a scratched aquarium that's glass, I would definitely take it back, unless you don't mind it. If it's a scratch that's definitely bothering you, I would take it back and just go like, hey, look, man, this thing was scratched, and I don't want a scratch thing. Typically it won't. Typically it wouldn't like cause a real problem with the glass or anything like that. It's definitely not going to have a big problem with it. But if it's bothering you, then I would definitely take it back. So, yeah. 54 Punchy says, Petco sells Mondo grass a lot, not true aquatic. That is very true. It's not true aquatic. Terry's Tropical Tanks is asking, huge question, rigid, DeWalt, or Milwaukee? Really depends on the tool. Typically, most of the tools that I have are DeWalt. I prefer DeWalt in a lot of things, but Milwaukee definitely makes some good stuff. And my table saw is rigid because rigid makes good table saws, but it's very specific of what tool it would be. If we're talking about impact drills, which there was one here. I don't know where it went. I think Vicky took it. Impact drills, I prefer the DeWalts. They last a lot longer through the day, and they do have consistent power throughout. Although, I've definitely gotten arguments with people that are like, my Milwaukee lasts so much longer, blah, blah, blah. So one of those things that just a personal preference on what you like. But most of my tools are DeWalt. Jess Logan says, hi, Corvus. Thank you for your content. Have you ever experienced fish with cloudy eyes? My oil catfish does, and I'm not sure what to do. My H2O parameters are perfect. My local fish store hasn't experienced this before. Yeah, I've had cloudy eye fish before. Typically, it's either bacterial or fungus, so I would treat for bacteria, fungus, Melifix, Pimifix. And sometimes fish get really old, and their eyes will get cloudy, and that's not a good sign of them getting younger, but that will definitely happen. Dan Squire says variegated plants are often not true aquatics, and that is very, very accurate, my friend. A lot of times you can throw them underwater. Let's see here. Oftentimes you can throw them under the water and they'll be okay for a certain amount of time, and that's typically how those guys. That's typically how those big stores get away with selling those kinds of plants. Is they just throw them underwater for a week and hope that somebody will buy them, and then somebody does buy them because they're like, wow, that'll look cool underwater, and you're like, yeah, it probably would, but it won't look cool after just a little bit once it's dead, and then you'll be depressed and sad, like I am most often than not, right? But let's see here. Oh my God, nobody bought all the lenses? Oh. Where's Paul Allen when I need him? Let's see, answer a couple more questions here before we head out. We've got 3 minutes left before we hit the mark here. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see here. All right, everything's been clicked on. There we go. Okay, cool. At least my Petco labels all their plants. Yeah, oftentimes they won't necessarily label exactly what's going on. You have to definitely look them up. Jess Logan says, thank you. I just got here. Definitely doesn't mean she's young. I will treat as recommended. I appreciate it. Can't tell you how much I've learned from your channel. Oh, thank you, Jess. Thanks for showing up and tuning in. Remember to share it out there. Hit the like button and share it to stuff, because I need your guys' help. My channel is so old, and I have so many dead videos on it. I need you guys to share it out and help get a little traction and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. There's no better way. I even asked if I could pay. And they were like, no, you can't pay. You just got to do a whole new thing. And I'm like, I'm not gonna. So, yeah, whatever happened to, if Drift and Driftwood comes back, hopefully realize that they're not banned. Sorry, it was just like confusion about what you were asking into the chat. Sorry about that. You mentioned something that's very close to something that's very much inappropriate for a lot of people. So, you got to be sorry about being quick on the trigger and, sending you into the spiral of people getting mad. So, sorry about that. My apologies. Harry's Covery is asking, I'm also curious about the baby tears. I saw that as well. Oh, who's asking? Let's see. Somebody asking about baby tears. Oh, there we go. Barbara Jackson's asking, are aquatic regular baby tears the same as baby tears you can buy at the garden center for ground cover? Yes. More often than not, that is the same plant. And the funny thing is that the baby tears, there are actually a bunch of varietals of it. It actually comes from an area. It actually comes from an area where it will either be growing out of the water or under the water. It actually is kind of one of those plants that just don't care. As long as it's getting enough nutrients and stuff like that, it don't care where it's at. As long as you get it set up correctly and just is getting enough nutrients and all that, all the light and everything that it needs, it will just be like, cool, man, we're underwater. I don't care. No big problem. But we're coming up on the end of the show. Thank you very much for everybody for coming out. Once again, thanks to Victor. Thanks to all the super chatters. Thanks to everybody for a fantastic week. I don't know if this gets enough likes and all that kind of stuff or whatever. I don't know. There's no metric. Our metric was trying to hit 1,000 people live, and I don't know if we'll ever hit 1,000 people live. I don't know. It doesn't feel like it at this point. We've been slowly dropping in the actual live numbers of people showing up. So I guess I have to get more. I'm gonna have to get more big name guests to come on. But thank you everybody for coming out. I very much appreciate the tremendous support, all the stuff that you guys are doing. It's amazing, and I would definitely like to be doing more. Oh man, here's the thing I forgot. Oh cool, I got a couple minutes here. I can still talk about it. All right. Don't worry about my channel and my stuff. I'm changing my mind here at the pitch at the end. What I need you guys to do is grab that. It's the GoFundMe right there for Caleb Overhauls. One of my favorite, my number one fan, my favorite number one fan. Yeah, that's right. Everyone else can take a back seat to Caleb Overhauls. He's my favorite fan. Okay? And that's just how you have to just deal with it, because he's my favorite fan. I've been battling for 2 years now to battling his way through leukemia at the ripe old age of 7. So if you haven't noticed this GoFundMe has been up for tomorrow will be 2 years, and we still haven't got this thing funded all the way. And I am so wildly blessed. I really don't need anything. Don't worry about me. I want you guys to help out, share that out, get it out there, and let's get this thing funded. I want to be able to be an old guy and go, hey, that young guy Caleb is, I don't know, playing soccer, doing whatever, and just kicking buns, and I can be like, cool, man, I don't have to do that because I'm old now, and I can just chill out. So that's the goal. That's what we want to have going on. Candy Overhauls, Caleb's mom, is always supporting this channel, doing the moderating, always being involved, sharing stuff out, and we want to help show some support for her. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, look, man, I don't have any money. I get it. I'm eating top ramen. You know what I'm saying? That's not necessarily what anybody has to do. But grab this thing, share it out on Facebook, share it out on Instagram, share it out on Twitter, blow that thing out there. Maybe there's a couple people that are like, man, I've got an extra $5. I want to help out and contribute and that kind of stuff. That's what we need. That's what we need happening. We don't necessarily need anyone to pay anything. We just need you to do 30 seconds of work. You know, grab it, grab the screenshot, share the link out, let people know what's going on, and let's just get this thing rolling down the road. Otherwise, I'm going to hop in my truck and stop making shows, and Vicky and I are going to head out to Montana and figure out how to do this personally with our bare hands, like wild animals. Like wild animals in the street. And I'm not going to film it, and I'm not going to put any of it on YouTube. That's right, making threats. Making threats, because I'll do it. I'll do it. If I got to go out to Montana and take care of my number one fan, I'm going to do it. So, we can share it out, and I could go out to Montana, and we can go out there with the number one fan and shoot some videos and stuff, which would be fun. Or I'm going to go out there in person and throw my phone in the river, and just we'll figure out how to do it in person. Right. Because I'm crazy. I'm crazy bug-eye man, and it's the end of the week. Thank you, everybody, for coming out on a Friday when you could be doing something super interesting, like, I don't know, listening to a guy talking to a microphone for 2 hours. Oh, wait a minute. I mean, you could have been doing something super interesting, unlike listening to somebody yammer on for 2 hours long. But thank you, everybody, for coming out. Big hugs and kisses to everybody out there. I love you guys. Thank you very much. Another fantastic week. I'm having a fantastic time and working hard, doing all this stuff. And let's see. Don't shoot any fireworks off. Don't go super crazy. Don't do anything that I wouldn't do. Or, hell, don't even do anything I would do. Either way, just stay safe. Hug your family, hug your mom, call your dad. I don't know. Do whatever you got to do this weekend and get it all done. Have a fantastic one out there. Later.